All right, good morning, almost afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a Rising Star podcast. As always, my name is Glenn Spillman. Alongside me is.
Carl Larry.
We are chilling out in Carl's mom's basement, Wayne's World style. And for those of you that have listened to our podcast so far, I mean, we often, I don't want to use the word boast, but we talk about extensively that we're different than everybody else. We don't have a script in front of us. Now, we might have bullet points through the other podcasts, but we're not sitting there. We're not rigid. We're not like talking in a radio voice. We're just two chill dudes.
Yeah.
Now, in the beginning, we had a set. Now, there is a Carl will talk about a movie review, then I'll go into subject matter, this and that. Carl and I got to talking, and he was like, dude, and we're talking, we're like, dude, we need this to be more organic.
Yeah.
We need to just be two dudes just talking. Just off the cuff talking. We don't need a bunch of stats and we need to be more personable. Now, we were personable before, but now we're welcoming you into our lives, our home, and we're just chilling out. We're not having a beer, but it's just metaphorically having a couple beers.
Having a metaphorical beer with our buds.
There you go. and because we want you guys to have fun listening to our podcast. We want you guys to, man, one of those guys going to drop another podcast. Those guys are cool.
Yeah.
Because we're not regimented. So now, yes, we do have our podcast that will talk about how to be an actor, how to write a script, and this and that. We will have those, and those will drop on the 15th and 30th of every month. But in between those, and we're going to also start having a deal for our subscribers that want private content. We're going to do private content and this and that. But this is one of
porn related, guys. Get your mind out of the
yeah, you naughties. So, and this is one of those days. We're giving you a special podcast, and because we were talking earlier today, and we're like, dude, and anyways, today's podcast is it's horror talk, and horror talk / kill count, meaning Carl and I, we're always talking about horror stuff. I mean, you guys know that we have a series that we wrote and that we're in the middle of pre-production. It's called Serial Killers, and we love horror. That's his favorite genre. It's my favorite genre. But a lot of times, our main focus in talk subject matter is like 80s horror.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll talk about the icon, and there's many horror 80s villains and whatnot, but we talk about the iconic ones: Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Pinhead. And there's other ones, but we got to talking, and then we go, hey, stop, that would make a good podcast. Let's do that subject matter. And we do not know the numbers right now, folks.
No.
We have no idea. I mean, we know what we're talking about, but we don't know the specific numbers.
We know the direction we're going. We just don't have the vehicle yet.
Yeah, what I'm saying is we don't have a paper sitting in front of us that has the answers to the questions that we are about to ask. So we're going to talk about...
We're kind of like those dumb kids who are trying to find an escape from a serial killer or a monster, but they don't have the car keys to the vehicle yet.
Right. That's another podcast in itself. Good Lord. Even just talking to him, we get more and more subject matters. But today is about kill count. And the question, we'll get to that in a moment, but we're going to talk about the more, I don't want to say the iconic, but the more iconic films of the 80s. Well, Halloween was 70s, but you jump into Friday the 13th and Hellraiser and Nightmare on Elm Street. Those are all early 80s. Well, Hellraiser was, I think, 86 or 87.
80s,
It's still 80s.
Late 80s, who cares? It's 80s.
Yeah, who cares? 80s was the bomb, dude.
We're not stuffy about it.
So, we got to asking each other questions, but before we get into that question, we kind of want to talk about each one of those films, and we're going to give, we're not going to review the films. We're just kind of give a premise of the killer,
Yeah.
why they became the killer, and what we think, not what is, but what we think personally, our opinions on what we think the killer is and was and how it became. So let's just start off, and we'll go in progression here.
Mhm.
Let's start off with Michael Myers, Halloween.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
So what's your opinion? I mean, obviously you've seen
Yeah.
the movie. So what is your opinion on why Michael Myers became Michael Myers?
I think he went down the rabbit hole too fast. I think he was isolated, and because he was basically left his own devices,
Right.
his mind drifted further and further into madness, and he was obsessed with his sister.
Oh yeah.
So his obsession just got deeper and deeper.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'm sorry to interrupt.
No.
Do you think he, and I never really thought about this too much, but do you think he was obsessed with her sexually? Or just
I think is yes and no. I think it's a mix.
Okay.
I think he was not only sexually obsessed with her, which I do think he was.
Mhm.
He was probably confused with that because he was the brother, but
Right.
I think he also had dark intentions with her. Like he wanted to kill her
Mhm.
for unknown reasons, possibly to keep her from being out of his life. And I don't know, he's got a weird mental process. It's like he doesn't want to lose her,
Right.
so maybe in order for her to keep from running from him or stay away from him, he kills her. He can keep her as a fucking carcass for all he wants, you know.
So if he can't have her, no one else can, kind of
Exactly. It's
All
like
right.
that process where it's like, you can't have her
thing. Mhm.
and I can't have her, so she's going to be dead and I'm going to hold on to her forever. you know?
Right. Okay. Good analogy. I can't argue too much with that, or at all for that matter,
Yeah.
because she was, if memory serves me correctly, she was naked, right, combing her hair when you killed her.
I think there was some naked scenes of her, yeah.
So he might have been, at that, dude, we're both dudes.
Right.
And we both, we could step back in our memory and think of the first time that we kind of thought about, girls and boobies and
Right.
sex and all. Because
Still
as
do.
young kids, we talk about that kind of thing,
Right, right.
And so maybe he was like peeping Toming a little bit. And
For sure.
but I 100% feel that I'll go 75% of his brain, his mentality, his spirit was dark.
Oh yeah, I think he definitely was dark. He had an abusive father.
Yeah.
If you go from the Halloween that was done by Rob Zombie,
Right.
you get that approach of how dark he was and how his father was abusive. And I don't think it was his actual father even. I think it was like
And that makes it worse.
yeah, he's just beaten and neglected and treated like a freak and called names and made fun of, and then eventually kind of just avoided by the whole family.
Right.
Except for maybe the mother. She was the one piece of glue that he had.
The
In that
the
first
caretaker,
Rob Zombie movie.
yeah. So Carl and I, we're not going to get into our past, but Carl and I have both had, I'll just say, interesting childhoods
Yes.
that had, we'll just use words, aggressive parents,
Yeah.
physical parents, bullying at school, this and that. And it can affect you.
Yeah.
I mean, we're older gentlemen now,
yeah.
and I can say for myself, I'm still sometimes somewhat mentally affected by it, and I've had to do a lot of working through it. And I did at one point in time in my life go to the dark side, and I haven't killed anybody, but I mean,
Right.
I've had those thoughts and fantasies, and when I watch horror like this, I'm like, yeah, kill the bitch, and not necessarily a female thing, but kill that person, they deserve it. The abusive, like, the we won't talk too much, but like the horror movie Stepdad.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude deserved to fucking die.
I don't think you have to have any history of mental illness.
No,
or
you're
anything
right.
Like that. I think it's like they push you in that direction to make you want the outcome to
Yes, the kind of
kill-
guide.
be.
Yes,
The villain needs to kill this person because they're unlikable in such a way.
right.
It's like you're voting for the killer, and it's. In the back in the day, it was kind of like you were voting for the killer. I think they wanted the killer to be an icon.
Right.
And that's why they always had these promiscuous teens who were just like, you know, back then you weren't supposed to have sex and you weren't supposed to do all these things. It was against the rules, and
Yes.
if you did, you're going to be punished.
Yeah. It's
And
like
so he was like kind of the one that was like punishing them, like, oh, you're going to have sex when no one's around and do whatever you want, drink alcohol and cause problems. Well, you're done for.
yeah,
you know?
kind of like in Carrie, where the mom's like, "You dirty little pillows."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I was taught growing up that you know,
I just recalled that scene. I was
Oh.
like, oh my god, yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I mean, I was taught growing up not just they didn't talk to me about sex because that was taboo.
Mhm.
But if I listened to music, I was going to hell. If I went to the movies, I was going to
Oh,
hell.
that's terrible.
If I went to a dance at school, I was going to hell. And everything I was doing, I was going to hell. So, so you can't. I mean, when you watch horror movies,
Mm-hmm.
I like to dive into why these people are the way they are.
Right.
And that's one of the reasons why we're doing this podcast, because we're going to talk about all these killers and why they became killers.
Absolutely.
And Michael Myers, I mean, you bring up a great point. I mean, diving into his psyche and
Yeah.
Dr. Loomis, I know that he was a doctor and he tried to get into Michael's mind, but I think
He just gave up at some point.
he
it
did.
seems. Yeah.
He gave up, and he goes, "I just see darkness. When I look into his eyes, you know, I see the blank veil." And because sometimes,
It's almost like he let a spirit into his body.
right,
Like he let himself become possessed by
exactly,
darkness.
because you know what? I was talking to someone yesterday. It was one of my baby mamas. And we were talking like a legitimate conversation. It was nothing bad or
Yeah.
nothing like that. And because she told me a little bit about me, and then she told me a little bit about herself. And the commonality between us was some of the reasons why our relationships didn't work out is because because everyone else, when they find out or see something, they run away. They
Yeah.
give up on you and they run away. So in our minds, we said, how long is this going to last? 6 months, 8 months, a year? We're always waiting for that other foot to drop. So maybe Michael Myers was like, I've been abused, this and that. People have always run away from me. They've given up on me.
Mhm.
And then I think, my opinion,
Yeah.
when Dr. Loomis, quote, said some words and gave up on Michael turned and he was like, you know what? You gave up on me too. So then when he let that, what you just said, that spirit of possessiveness, because that spirit might have whispered in
Everyone
his ear,
gives up on me.
yeah, I will never leave you. I'll be
Yeah.
there with you.
Oh, yeah. You know what? That could be another Michael Myers movie that entered Michael's mind.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, coming up from that aspect, and these are points that I've never thought of before until just right now,
Yeah,
having
yeah.
this conversation with you.
Yeah, not fully, but somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat.
But the more you talk about it, the more you're like, you know what, that actually makes sense.
Yeah. So there's the Michael Myers that now to me, when we get into the original, the only place that I don't like the Halloween franchise is 3.
Oh.
Because 3 didn't make. Now, also, I watched it as a teenager.
Because it's not with Michael Myers.
So, yeah, because it's not. And I was like, what? It's kind of like having sex with your clothes on, your dry humping, but you're not getting any pleasure out of it.
You're not climaxing.
Exactly.
You're just rubbing.
So, there's Michael Myers. So, let's move on to Jason Voorhees.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Friday the 13th wasn't the killer wasn't Jason Voorhees, and this isn't a spoiler alert. If you haven't seen the movie by now, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
So
you've had plenty of time.
The mother, but Jason was part of it, and Jason was a catalyst in the killing, and then he came, and we could always in Friday the 13th, the reason why the mom was so pissed was because, again, another taboo.
Mm-hmm.
He was out in the water and he was, drowning, and no one was paying attention to him because they were like messing around. The sexual stuff. They were having sex.
Right.
The taboo thing again.
Yeah.
So
time to be punished.
There's been, speculate. I mean, we could talk for hours about, was Jason around in the Friday the 13th original? Did he watch his mother kill these people. At the end, when she gets her head chopped off, did he see that happen to her?
Yeah.
And that's when he'd be like, okay, motherfuckers, I'm coming after you next.
Yeah, because at the end, if you've seen the movie, which
Yeah.
I'm sure you have,
Yeah.
he comes out of the water and
Yeah.
grabs her, but you don't see him in the bushes watching her become decapitated and all that.
Exactly.
You know, so it's only what you think
Right.
he might have seen. Maybe he saw her body and her head separated afterward, later on,
Mm-hmm.
after attacking the victim, and then, the main character. Maybe he saw it just laying there and went, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. And again, this
Killed
is
my
our
mother.
these are our theories. We're not saying this is what happened.
Right.
Because when they made the film, they don't let you know. They
No.
want us to think like this, which is great.
Yeah, they want speculation.
Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. So, let's fast forward to Friday the 13th, Part 2 and 3, and the rest of them. So, in your opinion,
Yeah.
what do you think made... Well, let's talk about Jason,
Yeah.
what we think he is,
Mhm.
why he doesn't die, you know.
Well, I remember when I was doing research on him, why they said he doesn't die.
Okay.
And it was like, based on different sources,
Mm-hmm.
it's like he's just unrelenting. He does not die because he refuses to give up. He
Okay.
does not want... His spirit will not let himself die,
Okay.
supposedly. And based on what I've seen, it seems like he that is the case. Like, he does not... He is determined to stop you from ruining his childhood and his life and interfering with his mother who's passed away.
Right.
He wants to
Murdered.
stop anybody that has any relation to that and wants to, or taints his experience. He's going to stop you. He's going to kill you. He's going to prevent it. But later on, that's when he goes into hell. Jason
Right.
goes to hell, so it makes me think maybe now the demons are influencing in him, because he came from hell.
Okay.
And now he's got the powers of the dark side, so it's like, at first, he would just not give up. His body would refuse
Okay.
to give up. And I think Michael Myers was looked at the same way. Both of them just refused to die.
In the beginning.
Right.
Right. Okay. So here's my spice to this mix.
Yeah.
I think in the beginning, he was so pissed off and I think he's been pissed off since the day he drowned, because yes, he might have had something, and we don't know what exactly it was, mentally wrong with him, maybe
Right.
physically, mentally, whatever, but he was still there cohesively, and so he was pissed off because he drowned, he's pissed off at the people, he's pissed off that his mom died,
Yeah.
but I think that Camp Crystal Lake was his sacred ground.
Yeah.
And when anybody
Sanctuary.
stepped onto that sacred ground, it's kind of like me and my Native American culture. If we come up, and even like back in the day, we'll say the 1800s, when we were traveling, I say we like I was there, but when they traveled across country to go to another place, if they came to a native burial ground, they would not just walk through.
Right.
They would walk miles out of the way because it was sacred ground.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so I think when people stepped on his sacred ground, he thought that they were there for bad intentions. So he's like, oh, well, if you're going to invade me, I'm just going to get rid of you. But when he saw not even in the other
Yeah.
Friday the 13th, and when he saw them having sex and whatnot, it triggered his memories to go back to where, he was, and it was a trigger. So he was already vengeful, but then
It
it
was
just...
like to seek revenge.
Exactly, times 10.
Yeah.
And
His mother's already dead, so it's like, oh, you motherfuckers.
so you're right, he has that internal motivation, that kind of like, super strength.
Yeah.
Kind of like, the fight or flight kind of thing, to where
Yeah.
he's not gonna, doesn't wanna. But then I think, like you mentioned, when he went to hell, then I would say maybe he had a heart-to-heart talk with the devil.
Yeah.
And the devil was like, dude, you want to be immortal?
Yeah.
Embrace me, and I will let you have all the vengeance you want, and you won't die.
Yeah.
And because I feel that, like you said, like the demons would be like, "Oh yeah, we'll protect your brother."
You
and
know,
we'll,
see, and that would be a perfect another. If we ever did a Jason movie, it
Yeah.
should be about him going to hell
yeah,
and his talks with the devil and stuff like that, or
Yeah.
even throughout the years, all the different things that made him come back from. Maybe he was already coming back from hell. Maybe he went to
Right.
hell when he died the first time. He talked to him and he's like, "Hey, I can keep bringing you back."
right,
So maybe it's we perceive it as like, oh, he refuses to die, but
right.
he died, so it's possible he went to hell and they already negotiated all this.
Yeah, because think about this. Okay, theologically. Now, I'm not going to get religious on you guys. Well, let's just think theologically just for a second. Now, there are different religious sects, okay?
Mhm.
And they all believe in an afterlife.
Mhm.
Some believe in reincarnation. Some believe in, you go to, to heaven and have 70 virgins or 72, whatever it is.
Yeah.
There's different variations of the afterlife.
Uh-huh.
So when you die, you go somewhere that a lot of people believe. So maybe when he did die, he went to the afterlife, the hell and
Right.
whatnot. And maybe when he died, Satan was there watching everything, and he pulled him to hell to have a little talk with him.
Yeah. I
Let's
like
say-
what you're doing.
Yeah. Hey, I like what you're doing, man. You're sending some souls my way.
Yeah. Keep it going.
And so I think his motivation was, first off, vengeance,
Yeah.
rage, anger, all of that negative stuff. And then when the darkness was taking over and over and over and over, that when the quote possession possibly could have happened. Because think about it. I mean,
Like, I'm gonna make you district manager
exactly.
of hell.
So then people ask, well, how did Jason grow? He was a kid, now he's a man, and this and that.
Yeah.
Well, he is and was human. Humans
Yeah.
do evolve. Even animals evolve. Even darkness evolves.
Right.
I mean, think of a negative cell in the body.
Yeah.
A cell will breed with another cell and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger and stronger and bigger. Well, that's what I think happened to Jason. Every time he killed and every time he did something like that, more and more he became bigger, he became stronger, he became smarter, he just evolved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
say that's fair.
That's just, again, our personal opinion. We're not saying, it's just our personal opinion. It's fun
Right.
to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, let's move on to,
Doesn't have to be factual.
exactly. Now we go into the progression and we talk about Freddy Krueger.
Oh yeah.
Now, Freddy Krueger, and we got one more to talk about after this, but I think Freddy Krueger,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, and we've had talks about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Dream Demon.
I think he's the nicest of the killers.
Uh-huh.
He's the most funny.
Mm-hmm.
He's only the second out of 4 that actually talks.
Right.
And he'll mess with you. He'll toy with you. He'll get to know you. Where like Michael Myers and Jason, if you get in there, they'll just kill you. There's no talking. There's no emotion. It's just death.
He'll kill you with humor.
But yeah, Freddy Krueger. And so let's talk
Welcome to my wet dream.
Let's talk about how did Freddy become Freddy?
Well, I mean, he was a rapist and a piece of shit, I guess, with the town, and they basically tortured and killed him.
Yeah.
They tracked him down, from which they tried to burn him alive
Right.
in a building, and then what it seemed was the Dream Demons
Yeah.
approached him with an idea: if you want to live forever, come with us, and we'll give you your vengeance back, and you can wreak hell on the world. But
Especially those that did what they did to you and their offspring.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we will. The children's children. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Now, and the movie kind of talks about this too, in one of the films, where the nun got locked in with all those psychopaths and they all gang raped her, and she was boned by probably
some
100.
maniacs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get all that evil sperm going around inside the uterus, and maybe more than one of those little sperms penetrated the egg, and they created Freddy Krueger. But think of let's think of the mentality of what made him stronger.
Well, I think it was killing each individual victim that made him stronger. The more he did, it seemed like he even, I think he even expressed that, like he was
Their
getting,
souls.
their souls gave him power.
Yeah.
Especially when he exposed himself in church.
Yeah.
With his chest, and all those people were like screaming inside his chest. I'm like, let me out of here, you know.
Right.
I think he was saying something about how he felt like he had a lot of power.
Right.
With all these souls, and there was nothing you could do, you know.
Right.
To stop him.
Mm-hmm.
So, in my opinion, it's like the more kills he got, the powerful he got.
Yeah, because you know what? If you think about it, let's jump into...
Or rather, the more souls, I should say.
Let's jump into reality for a second, like everyday life with people.
Yeah.
We're not talking about males, we're not talking about females, or anything in between. We're talking about people. Now, everybody, I don't care who you are, has been mad at some point in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Everybody has been hurt sometime in life. So, in
everybody hurts.
I'll use me as an example. When I got revenge on somebody, however I did it,
yeah,
it made me feel good.
Right.
It empowered me, and it made me mentally, and I'm just saying me, it made me feel stronger. Mm-hmm. So when you look at the reality of just real life,
right,
you know, and I'm not saying that it's right or anything, but yeah, when you do get back at somebody for them wronging you for whatever they did, it makes you feel better. So I think that after, you know, he was killing all of the kids that were the offspring of the parents, it's kind of like, you know, it made him feel better because he was getting back at the parents, but he never killed Nancy. And so then his anger came back. I mean, he did feel better, but then he couldn't kill her, so his anger came back. And but I think the more he killed, he was like, I like this.
I think he did kill her in one of them, but then she came back as like she was the star playing Nancy, and in the nightmare.
A real nightmare or something?
Yeah. It's like New Nightmare.
Yeah.
She was just the actor playing Nancy, but in the actual series of Freddy, I think he actually did come back in like 4 or something, and he killed her, and you know, started the whole trend of killing every new person.
Well, I think him, and I'm gonna bring drugs into it for a minute.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard this term when I studied in college. It's called chasing the dragon.
Yeah. And
it's a real term that was, I think, coined in the 60s or maybe even the 70s. That it was mainly like when you did heroin, mainly, or maybe even PCP, angel dust, that you get that initial euphoric high.
Yeah.
So when you want to do it again, but you can never achieve that same high again. So you do it again and again. That's called chasing the dragon. So I think when he got that high for killing and getting that satisfaction, that he just got addicted to it.
Oh,
and,
yeah, absolutely.
And he wanted it more and more and more and more. So that's what he did, and he couldn't get enough. And there was no...
He said something like that when I was researching him. I think they said that some people thought that it was like addiction for him. Like he couldn't get enough of it, and he wanted to just keep going. So I think that's accurate. It makes sense. It's like once he started, he just wanted to keep going.
Right.
And he didn't want to stop for nothing. He was like, I'm going to make a new future for eternity.
All right, so let's jump back quickly into his childhood.
Yeah.
Now, do you think, in your opinion, he was born evil, or do you think he was turned that way by his parental figure?
Well, the fact that he was created from 100-something maniacs or whatever,
right?
That I think played a part in it. But he was abused as he got older. He was made fun of and treated like crap. People thought he was weird. He was, however, evil, because I remember when they were showing his childhood, and he killed like a rat or something like that in classroom, and he was just doing some demented type shit that kids probably shouldn't do. So there was that instance of him being evil at a young age.
Right.
But then as he grew older, I think he was also coerced into it, and people just made him worse. Like he was being, someone was caretaking for him, and he was just, I think he was mowing lawns or something. I don't know. He was doing something on the side for him, and then he would be like, "Oh, you're gonna take your medicine now, boy," and he'd whoop him, you know.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Have another.
Yeah, I think you may have another. Exactly. I think he eventually became cultured into it, where he was just expecting to be evil, and that was who he was, and then eventually becoming Freddy Krueger, the sick rapist, child rapist, and
Right.
killer that he was, and then eventually, you know, a demon, a dream demon.
There you go.
So it was
there
like
you go.
a transition, I think.
The demon's coming back again.
Yeah.
You know, and some of you may not believe in demons, and you may not believe in this, and that's fine. We're not telling you what to believe or whatever.
No.
But in my estimation, in things, yeah, you're right. The demonic aspect, because if you study demons, or there's demonologists out there and whatnot, there are. It's even, and I hate to get religious again. It's biblical. It's in the Quran. It's in all this stuff. Demons come in many forms.
Yeah.
They're called legion. They come one at a time. A lot of times they're tricksters. They come at you nice, and it's fairy dust and unicorns, and then they hook you, then they turn on you, and then they got you.
Right.
You know, and I'm not saying all of them are like that, but when they come at you and they talk to you and they give you this, hey, I can give you this. It's kind of quid quo pro. You give me your soul, I will give you ultimate power.
Right.
You know, and I was asked. Now I'm going to be transparent for a second. I do see a psychologist because I've had my childhood trauma and I work through it. And she asked me one time. She goes, "What do you do when you get these thoughts?" And this is the first time I ever told her. She knows now. It's the first time I ever told her that I was a writer and a filmmaker and an actor. And she goes, "Oh, tell me more about that." I said, "Do you know?" Because she asked, she goes, "Where's your safe space?" She goes, "I want you to go, when you feel like this, go to your safe space."
Right.
And she goes, "What is your safe space?" And I said, "Darkness." And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "I have a chair that sits perfectly in the corner, sideways, or catty corner. And it's a nice plush leather chair that was my dad's. And it's custom made. It's all this is nice. But I sit in darkness because the light will show all your little imperfections. The darkness absorbs those and hides those, and it makes me feel good. And then I start, of course, I might have a libation or two, and the more I drink, the more I get creative. And I said, I write about things. Some of them are not so nice, but I write, I create, that's my art, and it makes me feel better. I go, that's my safe space. So, and I'm not a killer, and I haven't killed anyone, but what I'm saying is, that could be, you know, some of the things with these characters that we're talking about, that once they taste the darkness and the darkness accepts them for who they are, and don't, like, make fun of them or bully them or anything like that, they're like, oh, I like it here. And then the more they like it, the more the darkness is feeding them, the darker that they get, and then boom, one day they just, you know, switch. Now, the fourth and final one, which I think is the most interesting, sort of, the transformation, if you will.
Okay.
It's called FAFO. Fuck around, find out. And this character's name is Pinhead.
Yeah.
So how did Pinhead become Pinhead? So,
well, the from the movies,
right?
He was basically seeking too deeply in desire and pain.
Right.
Well, apparently, he was too curious, and he used a cube to access the gates of hell and release Pinhead from within inside it into his soul.
Right.
Basically, take him over.
Right.
I think what happened was, you know, from my opinion, I think he was so desperate for answers, and he was searching a journey that you probably shouldn't. A deep journey. What's, you know, what more is out there? Because he was He was a soldier. He was on the battlefield, and he's seen some gruesome shit. So he was trying to find reason for his life, I think, and he was looking for a deeper meaning, and he found something in the depths of hell with this device which allowed him to access it. It's like he found a gateway to that specific person by accident.
Right.
But he was so curious, he tapped into it, and that's all it took. And then once he figured out how to open the gates of hell by accident, because he had the desire to learn the knowledge, he wanted to seek out what was going on in the darkest parts of the world, or just the darkest areas.
Right.
It allowed it to come out and find him and turn him into the Lord of fucking hell.
Right. And if you think about Pinhead, I think he was the more sexualized and sexual of all of them. Because, I mean, how many lines did he say in the movies like, I have great...
Yeah, I have such
sights to show you.
Yeah.
And that first one was very sexual in nature. And, and again, what made him stronger and grow and become was every time that she brought him a victim and they killed him, he became more and more, the bones, the muscles, the tendons started growing, then the flesh, and then he just became, stronger and stronger. But when you, and I feel that, true. Again, whatever you believe is fine. But I do personally believe that there is forces out there that you don't want to jack with. And one of them is, and this is a different podcast for a different day, but one of them is like the Ouija board. Yeah. If you mess with that, and because I've used that thing hundreds of times, hundreds of hours, and I've seen some shit. So I believe because I've seen with my own eyes. But you mess with that stuff, like the spirit box or the box and all that, and especially in other cultures, like the Middle East and in Africa and all these other, in India and all these cultures, go back 1,000 years, go back 2,000 years. And some of the shit that they were in, they were all, again, I'm sorry to get religious on you, but if you've read the Bible, even the Bible talks about magicians, demons, the netherworlds and all that kind of stuff. So if you mess around with that and you want to know, they'll show you. Yeah. And that's what he did. And like you said, he got too close and he found out probably more than he wanted to know. Yeah. And then, but see, the thing with all of these guys, especially like Pinhead, darkness is their comfort. Yeah. Darkness is where they want to live, where they like to live. And even if you look at, other than, if you look at just the films and look at the scenes and whatnot, most of the scenes happen darkness, and, the lighting, the dark blue lights, some red lights, and all that's where they're strongest, is in the darkness. These aren't like, we'll just take a step to the right real quick and very briefly talk about vampires. Vampires, historically, they can't go into the light, so they live in the darkness. That's their comfort. That's all I'll say about vampires right now. So when you're a killer, even in real life, if you're going to kill someone, are you going to do it right now, or are you going to wait till dark?
Dark.
When no one's seeing. There you go. Darkness hides the truth and hides reality. So, unless you have anything else on Pinhead...
Boy, you're getting really, you're really diving into it on that one.
I am, dude.
It started to make me think about all the different correlations between darkness and, like, what they relate to. And it's like, even the mind, the depth of the mind. Like, there's some subjects you don't want to bring to the light because it's too dark.
Right.
And once you do, you can't hide it.
Right.
So it's like, you want to keep everything in the dark in more ways than one.
Yeah, because the subconscious, dude...
God.
Well,
it all has to do with darkness, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And in that essence, wouldn't that be like the essence of evil is dark?
That's what most people would say and think.
But we're afraid of the dark too.
Yeah, I mean, dude. When you were a kid, did you have to have a nightlight or a light on?
Oh, fuck yeah.
All right then. And I was that way too. I had to sleep with the door closed Because
Really?
yes, and my closet door closed.
Oh.
Because every night before I went to bed, I looked in the closet. I didn't have an under the bed because I had a captain's bed.
Right.
But I looked around my room, made sure nothing was there, and I closed the door because I felt if I left the door open, it was easier for the bad things to come in.
Really?
But if I closed it, that was like my little force field, you know.
Interesting.
And
I
so
thought it was the opposite. I thought they would be in the room, like they come out of the darkness.
they still could, yeah.
Out of a shadow or just any part of the dark areas of the room, they would manifest from there.
And I had a little nightlight, and that was like my little and I had this little flashlight. Half of it was red, the other half was like a regular flashlight, and I would play with it for whatever reason until I fell asleep, and that was kind of like my comfort, you know, to let me.
Yeah.
But as I, you know, grew older and whatnot, but yeah, it's like when I used to wear all black.
Yeah.
People would be like, "Oh, you're dark, you're evil, you're goth,
Right.
you love death," and I'm like, "No, I like the way it looks, and it makes me feel good."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Same.
but once I got into that realm of my thought patterns, absolutely, because even like when HD first came out in movies, like when you would show stuff, like it mainly came out like with sports and whatnot. With HD, you could see every little speck of, you know, it brought out all the, you know, you could see the pores in their face and this and that.
Every little detail.
And people didn't like that at first, you know, because it brought up their imperfections. And if you're in the dark, people can't see your imperfections or anything. But you're right. Most people perceive darkness with evil. You know, if it happened, you know.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
Everything it has to do associated with darkness has to do with evil.
Right.
Even the color of just black itself, or red or black, is
Yeah.
associated with evil.
Yeah, red is an aggressive color.
I mean, it can be used in different, let's say, in different parts of the country as a ceremonial. You know, it could be used for fashion, but typically red and black for most people, I think, is considered evil.
Yeah, in different cultures, like the Chinese culture, red is a good luck color.
Yeah.
You know, so again, it's different cultures do different things.
But we wear black to associate with death, so I guess it just depends on who and where you are in the world.
And I asked, someone was going to a funeral the other day, and I asked him, I'm like, why do you think, when did it start that you had to wear black? You know, because questions like that fascinate me. I want to know why something's the way it is, you know? So, I mean, but again, different cultures, like the Irish, they do wakes. You know, they don't have, you know, the funerals. They have parties, you know? And it's like in New Orleans, I was there, and they had the famous type of funerals where they're playing the music and walking down this and doing all that. It's kind of a party, but kind of mourning, so it's kind of 50-50.
Yeah,
So
in Mexico, they celebrate the dead.
yeah, actually. So now we're getting into the crux of the podcast, and we're going to talk about the kill count of these four characters.
Who's got the highest kill
Who's
count?
got, so in your opinion,
Yeah.
who do you think out of Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, and Pinhead, who has the most kills?
Well, I think it has to be Jason because he kills without any sort of, like, you don't even have to go to a backstory on any character. If you're in his way, he'll kill you.
Right.
So I feel like because of that, whoever jumps in the way of the protagonist he's after, he's going to murder them.
Okay.
Without even, you're not even going to get a sense of who that person was. They're just going to die.
Okay.
In other stories, you, like, say, Freddy Krueger, you get to know the character a little bit. You kind of develop sort of a relationship. You find out what their fears are, and then they die. So there's more time for them to exist before they're killed off. So that with Jason, it's just instant. It's always like he's going to kill anybody no matter what.
He's on a mission.
He's on a mission. Michael Myers might be close, but I feel like Jason has killed more because he's like a relentless. There's people who've tried to stop him and got in the way and been killed immediately.
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna stop you. No, you're dead. Crack the neck or whatever.
Right.
Throw him through a plain glass window.
Right.
Whatever the case may be, you can't stop this guy. And to show that power, I think he's gonna have a higher kill count because of that.
Okay, I will tend to agree with you on that because if you think about just Friday the 13th, for the most part, Crystal Lake. Yeah. What goes to Crystal Lake? Campers,
right?
Camp counselors, and all that. So you have
teens.
You have an influx of people.
Yeah.
10, 20, 30. So all these people right here, and pretty much most of them all die. You know,
some of them are party goers who go there.
Right. Freddy Krueger comes at one except in Dream Warriors when they did to different people.
Yeah.
But usually comes at you one at a time.
Right.
Michael Myers is mainly after one person, but he'll kill who gets in his way.
Exactly.
Pinhead, different beast altogether. So I will tend to agree with Jason because of the amount of people that were at the campground. And I know that there's, Jason Takes Over Manhattan, and I know all that stuff too, but and all the other stuff. But in the beginning stages of the film, other than the first one, because he has the opportunity.
Yeah.
More people, more opportunity.
The other the side of that coin is that he's been around a lot longer. He's had a lot of to kill him.
Yeah.
A lot of opportunities, and usually he doesn't wait to be buddy with somebody.
Right. And he doesn't give you. It's kind of like we said with Freddy Krueger. Freddy will toy with you.
Yeah.
He'll let you. He'll mess with you a little bit, and then he'll come at you the next night. Mess with you a little bit.
Yeah.
So he toys with you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, we don't have a paper sitting in front of us. We're gonna look it up on Google.
Yeah, let's do it.
So Google says, let's look here at the
highest kill count.
Now let's go with the lowest kill count.
Oh, okay.
The lowest kill count is Freddy Krueger.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? See, that brings me to my point. Is because he always gets to know his victims.
Yes.
For like what, 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, because if you think about the first one, there's Glenn, which is Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
He's not the first one that died. I'm just saying. There's him. There's that kind of the guy that wore the leather jacket that got killed in the jail. There's him.
Exactly.
There's that girl. There's like 4, maybe 5 in the first movie because they're all just that group of kids right there.
Yeah, and each one you have to get a little backstory of who they are and get to know.
Yeah, so that takes the whole movie.
Yeah.
So Freddy Krueger comes in last at a little over 60. Okay. That when I say a little over 60, that means whether it was off screen or rebooted. So the original Freddy Krueger, right around 60.
Like the new Freddy Krueger.
And you know what? We're both kind of.
They just call that Nightmare on Elm Street, right?
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. Now we're both wrong. Jason Voorhees comes at number 3.
Really?
With 150 to 170 kills, and that also is based on whether you include the reboots.
Oh, okay.
If you don't include the reboots, it's 150.
And these are no fan films either.
No. This is just, and the second, which is right close to Jason's, Michael Myers. Michael Myers, if you take away the newer trilogy, it's 161 kills.
Ooh.
The most, by far, and it is not even close. It is a landslide freaking kill count, and that is Pinhead.
No shit.
246 kills.
That's crazy.
That is nuts, dude.
I had no fucking idea that Pinhead would be the highest one.
Yeah.
Because it seems like that's the same thing. You get to know the characters and they're killed.
But if you think about, I didn't.
It's been the in-betweeners who got in the way.
I didn't think, but if you think about it, and if you go now there is also another one we will take a look at real quick, and this goes kind of like by movie. But it's a little interesting. The only reason why I'm going to say this is because it just interests me. I'm going to get just real quick. They have a website here that kind of gives the top 10, and there's Matthew Cardwell in Maniac Cop, 56 kills.
That was a good one.
And then you have Victor Crowley from Hatchet.
Oh, such a brutal film.
61 kills.
Okay.
Chucky.
Yeah.
67 kills.
Okay.
And then you have the different movies with Michael Myers. And so if you go back in the day, the black and white film,
Jesus.
The Invisible Man, 124 kills.
Even back in the day, they were killing a lot.
Yeah. And then again, Pinhead, 256. So there you have it, folks. That is an interesting...
I would have guessed that. I never would have guessed that.
No, I wouldn't either.
I would have thought it would have been the lowest, because I didn't realize that there was that many people being killed on film.
Right. So that just raises other questions in my mind, about...
There must have been scenes where he was just offing them left and right,
Yeah.
Oh, you know what it is? I remember there was one in part 3 where they're inside a club, and he kills everybody in the club. That's a high kill count right there.
There you go. There's probably 100 right there.
That's probably why, because he has like the access to most people in the movies for kill counts.
Yeah.
That's one scenario I can think of that makes sense.
Like Michael Myers, and we'll wrap up with this. Michael Myers is his main thing is get back to Haddonfield, get back to Haddonfield, get back to Haddonfield.
Right.
Now he's taken to psych wards, this and there, but he's mainly in one area. Mm-hmm. Jason mainly, unless you do the Manhattan thing and goes to space and all that.
Crystal Lake.
Mainly Crystal Lake. Freddy can get to anywhere, anybody in the world through their dreams.
Right.
So he's all over the place. And Pinhead is also kind of all over the place.
It seems like he always goes back to Elm Street, though, doesn't he? It's always
about
Elm Street, Freddy.
Yeah. Because that's, I think, the catalyst of where it all started.
Yeah.
But anyway, folks, I hope you guys enjoyed our special podcast. And we're going to be doing a lot more of these. There's so many interesting, subject matters with not just within films, but within horror itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we're going to talk a lot about horror because it's our main genre that we like, and there's so much to talk about.
I'm a whore about horror.
Yeah, there you go. And if now that you guys know that we touch on other subject matters than just trying to help you guys out, if there's something you guys want us to talk about, or it could be anything that has to do with the entertainment world, or movies or anything like that. You can get a hold of us on social media. Carl O'Leary on Facebook, Glenn Spillman on Facebook. You could DM us. You can go to the website cellar13films.com and send us a little email. But we love doing these podcasts. We love giving you guys these information because I'm sure there's people out there in the horror realm that would be like, oh, I didn't know that either. You know?
Right?
So we kind of like to give you...
me up to the reality of the horror genre,
So we like to give you guys little nuggets and tidbits and information that you may not know. And we hope we did that today. So we're going to drop this. And we thank you guys for listening, and we will chat with you. Oh, for those of you listening today, just remember the 15th, just here in a few days, our regular informative podcast about the how-tos in the entertainment world will be dropping. It's on podcasts like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, all that kind of stuff. We're on 40 different platforms. So, yeah, all right, man. We see you guys later. Peace out.
Later, guys.